Hello, everyone, dear friends. It's me, Joy, along with anxiety, anger, and disgust. Today, Tim is playing a mode called Minions Berry's Prison Run.
Hello, everyone. Look, Tim has been locked up here by the minions. There's one of them patrolling the corridor. Look, he looks scary, and he could harm us.
Forget about him. Let's escape through the ventilation quickly. Hi, subscribers. How's it going? Write in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Your support is very important to us and to Tim.
Hi! This place is disgusting. Look at the walls and floor. Everything is covered in dust and dirt. Honestly, it was cleaner in the cell. Let's find a way out quickly. Subscribers, help us out!
Guys, let's stay optimistic. Everything is fine. Tim is smart and brave. He'll definitely find a way out of here. Where have we ended up? This room looks pretty strange, don't you think? Oh, look at that minion. He's so funny and cute, even though he's standing by the door.
Oh no! He's starting to move towards us. What should we do? We need to find a safe place quickly before he catches us.
Stop panicking. We need to move quickly and decisively. If we can make it to the ventilation, we can escape from him. Let's find our way and keep moving.
Oh no, not another ventilation. I can't stand these dirty, cramped spaces anymore. But if it's the only way to escape that dreadful minion, I'm ready to go through it.
We did it! We're in the ventilation now, and the minion can't reach us. Now we just need to find our way out and seize every opportunity.
Wow, what is this room? Everything looks so luxurious. And what if the chandelier in that room fell on us?
All right, we've ended up in the minions' dungeon. Tim needs to stay alert. Minions are very cunning and stealthy. They could appear right beside us at any moment. We must get through this challenge and move forward.
It's full of rats and so cold here. It's really disgusting. Guys, hit the like button and subscribe so we can get out of here as soon as possible.
Disgust. It's not that bad here. There's water, it's spacious, and it's humid. What's more interesting is what awaits us next. This is truly an exciting and amazing adventure.
Oh no, this huge ball could crush us. How do we move forward? It looks so terrifying. I'm about to cry from fear. Tim, please be careful. I'm begging you, make it to the end.
Anxiety. Tim is doing great. Come on, Tim, I believe in you. You can overcome this giant ball and make it to the end. Forward, just keep going.
Tim almost made it. Great job. He did it.
See? Even though you were worried, Tim has everything under control. He'll make it to the end.
Joy, I think this is a great moment to share a couple of interesting stories with our viewers. What do you think?
Yes, great idea. Let's share a couple of exciting stories with our viewers while Tim continues his adventure. I hope you'll enjoy them. Guys, have you hit the like and subscribe buttons? Then let's get started. This story is about Tim's transition to a new school. The first day at the new school was a real adventure. Tim was eagerly looking forward to it. There were many new faces around, and he was full of enthusiasm. I could feel his joy and inspiration. We eagerly watched as he smiled, made new friends, and explored his new surroundings. Each new discovery brought him joy, and his energy was simply contagious.
I couldn't help but worry about Tim. A new class, new teachers, new rules. Everything was new to him. I was concerned about how he would handle the adaptation and whether he would be able to get along with his classmates. Every little detail seemed important to me, and I was anxious about how he would feel in the new environment. I was scared that he might be left alone or that something might go wrong.
When I saw how some of the kids in class reacted to Tim, I was furious. I was irritated when some of the kids started teasing or showing unkindness. It was unfair. Tim deserved better than such taunts. I was ready to fight for his dignity and protect him from any attempts to belittle him.
Some moments of the first day were simply unpleasant. I felt disgusted when I saw the untidiness in the school cafeteria or locker room, and some kids behaved rudely and disrespectfully. All of this created an unpleasant impression and sometimes overshadowed the joy of new experiences. I was disappointed that the initial stage could be spoiled by such small things.
Despite all the difficulties, Tim managed to get through the first day. He found new friends and adapted to the new environment. His smile and positive energy returned when he realized that things weren't as scary as they had seemed at first. We were thrilled with his successes and the fact that he was able to overcome all the initial hurdles.
By the end of the day, I felt a sense of relief. Tim began to feel more confident, and his anxiety gradually subsided. Although I still worried about his adaptation, I saw that he started to get along with his classmates and felt more comfortable. It was reassuring.
I was glad that Tim was able to show who he was despite the initial difficulties. Even though some kids continued to behave inappropriately, Tim didn't let them break him and kept moving forward. I was proud of how he held his ground and didn't give in to provocations.
Although the first impression of the school had some unpleasant moments, I saw that Tim managed to overcome the difficulties and kept moving forward. It was important for him, and I understood that he was able to leave the negative moments behind and start a new chapter of his school life with a positive attitude.
Thus, the first day at the new school, though it began with worries and difficulties, became the start of a new and exciting adventure for Tim. We were happy to see his growth and development, and were confident that he would have many wonderful moments ahead. Hey guys, did you enjoy the story? Hit that like button and subscribe. When Tim watched the horror movie, he was thrilled by the plot and special effects. It was an exciting and tense adventure that kept him on edge until the very end. I was happy to see him enjoying the genre and how his eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. In the evening, he discussed the movie, sharing his favorite moments, and it was fun and interesting.
But as night fell, I began to worry. Tim became nervous and anxious, and although I knew the movie was just fiction, his fears started to haunt him. I was concerned he wouldn't be able to sleep, and that his nighttime fears might seriously affect his well-being. I was anxious about every creak and shadow that might remind him of the scenes from the film.
In the morning, when strange things started happening, I was outraged. Why did these things have to happen? It was unfair. Tim had already endured a night full of fears and anxieties, and now he was being plagued by oddities. It was simply unacceptable. I was ready to fight to protect Tim from any potential troubles.
When the oddities started occurring, I felt disgusted. The strange noises and mysterious events not only scared Tim, but also made me feel uncomfortable. I was distressed that reality seemed to be turning into a terrible movie that Tim had watched. It was unpleasant and gave me a sense of anxiety and distaste.
Despite all the fears and discomforts, Tim managed to find the strength to handle the situation. He began to see everything that was happening as mere coincidences and approach the situation with humor. His ability to find positivity, even in difficult situations, helped him overcome his fears and regain his calm. I was happy to see him smiling again and tackling all the problems with confidence.
As things began to settle down, I felt a sense of relief. Tim managed to handle the situation and regain his calm. Although I still worried about his nighttime fears, I was glad that he was able to see the events as part of his imagination and deal with them. It gave me confidence that he could handle any challenges that came his way.
I was glad that Tim could handle the situation despite all the discomforts. Although what was happening was unfair and annoying, he didn't let his fears take over and kept moving forward. I was proud of how he showed resilience and courage.
Although all these oddities were unpleasant and made me feel uncomfortable, I was happy that Tim was able to overcome his fears and return to a sense of normalcy. These events reminded us of how important it is to stay calm and not let fears and discomforts control us.
So, despite all the difficulties and nighttime fears, Tim managed to handle the situation and return to normal life. We were all happy to see his confidence and ability to deal with challenges. It was a lesson in how important it is not to let fears control you and to find joy and courage even in the toughest situations.
Hey everyone, our stories have come to an end. We really hope you enjoyed them. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Your support means a lot to us.
While we were sharing stories, Tim has reached the final challenge, Mega Minion Boss. This is a very serious opponent, but we will crush him. Tim is strong and brave, and he will definitely defeat him.
Oh no, he's so big and gross. It's disgusting to look at him. Do we have any other options? Do we really have to fight him? Maybe there's a way to avoid him somehow.
Hooray! Tim defeated the boss. We did it. Tim has completed this level. Guys, you definitely need to like and subscribe for this. It's amazing.
It was really scary, but this level is truly interesting and dangerous. Guys, thank you for being with us. Thanks for watching and for your support. Bye for now.
Hello, dear friends.
Hello.
Hello!
Hi.
Today we will be escaping from prison in Roblox in the Mode Berries prison run. But before the escape begins, we wanted to ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment on which map Joe should play next.
Yes, this really helps Joe. When you engage with the video, it becomes easier for Joe to complete the modes. Let's help him out.
Again with the vents. I hate them. Just let me know who the person is that installs them, and I'll fry them like a firecracker and blow them up.
Anger, calm down, we've already gotten out of it.
I think we should jump on those blocks to move forward.
Joe, don't look down. I'm really scared. Be careful when jumping on these blocks. If you fall, you'll land on the spikes.
It's so cold here, probably because of those large fans blowing in this direction.
Yes, I agree with you. It's very cold here.
I don't know. I actually feel quite warm.
Wow, these grates don't look very sturdy. Maybe we should look for another way?
No, there's no other way. We have to go through these grates. Joe, be careful when you jump on them.
I think we should break this grate with that key. Joe, take this key and break this grate.
It seems to me like this vent is connected to the bathroom, or why does it smell so bad here? I really dislike this odor.
Disgust, I think you're mistaken. I hear some screams. I think there's danger ahead. Joe, be careful.
Anxiety, you were right. There's a guard there. Joe, you need to be very fast to avoid getting caught by him.
Joe, run away from him quickly. If he catches you, he'll send you back behind bars. I don't think this pipe is meant for walking on.
Don't worry, Joe isn't heavy. He won't be able to break this pipe. Many people have walked and even jumped on it before Joe. As you can see, it's not broken.
Oh no, we forgot to press that red button to open that grate. We need to go down and press it. Joe, be careful not to get caught by the guard. It'll be really bad if you do.
Don't worry about him. He's very, very fat. I think he eats planets for breakfast. He'll never catch you. Even if you walk, he won't catch you. I don't know how they hire such fat guards. He can't catch anyone. Ha ha ha, don't be angry, guard. If you lose weight, you'll be able to catch everyone.
Stop insulting the guard already. It might hurt his feelings. Just run away from him. I even feel sorry for him.
Ah, these damn vents again. How much longer?
I was right after all. It is connected to the bathroom. Ew, it smells so bad here.
Yes, you were right. I really don't like this smell. It's just unbearable.
I completely agree with you. Let's get out of here as quickly as possible.
Here's the source of the smell. Don't pay attention to it, Joe. You need to take that shovel and start digging. We have to do this as quickly as possible.
It seems like a good time for stories. Oh, what a wonderful day it was when Joe decided to cook for the whole family. The kitchen was filled with excitement and anticipation. I could feel the joy bubbling up inside as we gathered ingredients and prepared to create something delicious.
Ugh, cooking again? Why does Joe always have to make such a mess? The chaos in the kitchen was infuriating. Spices scattered everywhere, pots clanging loudly. But I kept my cool, trying not to let my anger boil over.
The smells. Oh, the smells! As soon as Joe started chopping onions, my stomach turned. The pungent aroma filled the air, making me want to gag. Why couldn't Joe choose something less aromatic?
Oh dear, what if Joe burns the food again? I couldn't help but worry as I watched him handle the hot stove. What if something goes wrong? I fretted over every step, hoping we wouldn't end up with another kitchen disaster.
Despite the initial chaos and doubts, Joe's determination and our teamwork prevailed. We all pitched in, each of us playing our part to make sure everything turned out just right. The aroma of a well-cooked meal filled the kitchen, bringing smiles to everyone's faces.
Surprisingly, the food actually tasted good. Maybe Joe isn't so bad in the kitchen after all. I grudgingly admit that all the effort was worth it in the end.
I must admit, despite my initial aversion to the smells, the final dish looked quite appetizing. I cautiously tried a bite and was pleasantly surprised. It was delicious. Perhaps cooking isn't as bad as I thought.
Whew, everything turned out okay. I can relax now. Watching Joe cook was nerve-wracking, but I'm glad we were able to help him and enjoy a meal together as a family.
Now we will tell a story about how Joe learned to swim. Oh, what an exciting day it was when Joe decided to learn how to swim. The sun was shining brightly, and the pool shimmered invitingly. I could feel the anticipation and enthusiasm building up as we gathered by the water's edge.
Why does Joe have to do this now? The water is cold, and I hate getting wet. The thought of dealing with all this splashing and chaos is infuriating. But I tried to keep calm and not let my frustration show.
Oh no, what if Joe sinks or gets hurt? My heart raced with worry as I watched him hesitate at the edge of the pool. What if something goes wrong? I fretted over every possible scenario, fearing the worst.
The water. It's so gross. I can't stand the feeling of it on my skin, and the thought of all those germs floating around makes me shudder. Why did Joe have to choose swimming of all things?
Despite my initial concerns, Joe showed determination and courage. With our encouragement, he took small steps into the water, and I could feel his excitement growing with each stroke.
Oh, more splashing. Why does learning to swim have to be so messy? I grumbled inwardly, but begrudgingly admitted that Joe was making progress, even if it was annoying.
I held my breath as Joe practiced floating and kicking. Every little splash made me jump with anxiety, but I was relieved to see him improving under our watchful eyes.
The chlorine smell? It's overwhelming. I tried to stay back as much as possible, but I couldn't avoid the sensation of being surrounded by water. At least Joe seemed to be getting the hang of it, despite my discomfort.
Now I'll tell you a story about how Joe flew on a plane for the first time.
Oh, it's so exciting! I can't believe the feelings Joe is experiencing right now. I'm just overflowing with joy seeing him here in the airplane. His heart is racing as we take off, his eyes shining with delight. He dreamed of flying for so long, and now, finally, his dream is coming true. I feel his emotions filling every cell of his body. How he enjoys the views outside the window. How he smiles at every flight attendant and seatmate. It's wonderful to be a part of this moment of joy.
This airplane is absolutely dreadful. How can anyone sit comfortably in this cramped space? Why is everyone so slow and inattentive? These flight attendants are just useless. Why couldn't we choose a more comfortable flight? I'm seething with anger every time I see how we're being served. This is simply unacceptable. Joe, why aren't you showing more initiative? Why are you satisfied with this service? This flight isn't even worth our time and money.
What if something goes wrong? I'm nervous beyond belief. All these sounds, movements, vibrations. I can't stop thinking about potential issues. Flying on a plane is so dangerous. What if we have an accident? What if something happens to the engine? Joe doesn't realize all these risks. He's just enjoying the flight. But I fear for him. I feel his fear overwhelming me. His anxiety makes me worry and suffer. Every minute of this flight is a test for our nerves.
How can anyone stand being here? It's just a nightmare. This smell, these sounds, this cramped space. I just can't. I feel disgust washing over me with every breath Joe takes. How can he not feel this horrible atmosphere? It's all so dirty, so unpleasant. I just want to get out of here as quickly as possible. Joe, why can't you hear my cry of disgust? Why don't you understand that this place is simply hell on earth? The next story is about how Joe entered a new class and got to know his new classmates.
It was so exciting. When Joe entered the new class, I couldn't help but rejoice with him. His face lit up with a smile as he greeted his new classmates. He was so open and friendly. He quickly found common ground with the kids in the class, started talking to them, and showing interest in their hobbies. It was wonderful to see him blossom in this new environment, his eyes shining with joy from making new friends. We tried to support him, encourage him, and help him overcome any shyness. Each of his successes brought me immense joy.
I am just furious about this situation. Joe in a new class and his classmates, they are just unpleasant. Why aren't they showing more kindness towards him? Why aren't they making more effort to get to know him better? I am angry at how they are treating him. It's unacceptable. I quickly grew angry seeing how they ignore his attempts to befriend them. Joe deserves better. Why isn't he standing up for himself more? I'm ready to explode with anger if he continues to endure this.
I was terrified when Joe walked into that class. New people, new surroundings. How would he cope? What if they didn't accept him? We agonized over every word he said, every step he took. He looked so tense trying to start a conversation with his classmates. And what if they didn't understand his feelings and intentions? I felt his anxiety, how it overwhelmed him every minute. We tried to give him cues, support him, but every uncertain look he gave to those mocking faces intensified my fears. It was such a nerve-wracking experience.
I feel disgust overwhelming me as Joe tries to interact with these people. They are so unpleasant and hypocritical. How can he stand being in the same class with such awful people? I can't stand their appearance, their voices, their mannerisms. And every time Joe tries to engage in a conversation, I want to close my eyes and escape from here. This atmosphere fills me with disgust, and I hope Joe soon realizes what terrible people surround him.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. Bye, everyone! Hello, dear friends. I am Joy. And today, we will be playing Roblox in the mode Escape Carnival of Terror. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as well as leave a comment on which map we should play next. Let's begin the escape from this amusement park.
Yes, let's get started. Whoa, it's so hot in here.
Oh, look, a red balloon.
A red balloon? It's not just a balloon, it's a sign of danger. What if it's a trap or a symbol of some evil clown?
Anxiety, you're worrying too much. It's just a balloon. We're here to help Tim get through the game, not to get scared at every step.
But what if there's something behind that balloon? We need to be cautious, or we might get into trouble.
All right. We'll be cautious, but let's not panic over every little thing. Tim is strong. He can handle any challenges.
Just look down there. Those are some kind of teeth or fangs. It looks really disgusting, and that's probably why there's such an unpleasant smell here. We need to be extra careful not to fall onto those fangs.
Wow, that's a huge fire. I've never seen flames that big before. Tim, be careful not to get burned, or you'll end up looking like a piece of charcoal.
That's not even big. I see flames like that on my head every day when everyone annoys me.
Ugh, just look at this place. All these traps and dangers look horrible. Who even thought of creating such a disgusting room?
Wow, this is incredible. There's so much going on here. I think Tim will have fun overcoming all these traps.
Fun? Are you serious? It's dirty and dangerous here with all these nasty traps everywhere. One wrong step and he could be in big trouble.
Well, you're right. It does look dangerous. But just imagine how proud Tim will be when he gets through all this. He can do it, especially with us here to help him.
I just hope he doesn't have to touch anything gross. These spikes and mud pits are a nightmare.
Let's support him and help him stay focused. If we stay positive, Tim can handle any challenge. Go, Tim!
Wow, what a huge tower. We need to climb it to move forward, but it looks rusty and unstable. What if we fall? What if one of those pipes collapses and we fall back down? It would hurt Tim a lot.
Don't worry, Anxiety. Everything will be fine. Even our boy Tim doesn't weigh enough to break the platform. Plus, we're almost at the top.
These thin pipes look really unstable. What if one of them breaks under Tim's weight? We could fall and get injured.
And not just that. Look how dirty and rusty those pipes are. And the smell is awful. I don't even want to touch them.
Yes. And what if he touches something unpleasant or filthy? It could be dangerous and gross. I'm scared this could end badly.
I'm scared too, but if we don't move, we won't get through. I hope Tim will be careful and avoid stepping on anything disgusting.
Maybe we can find another way to get across? These pipes look very risky. I hope everything will be all right.
If we can't find another path, we'll have to use these. But we need to make sure Tim is as careful as possible to avoid touching those dirty pipes.
I want to tell you about the time Tim went on his first camping trip. It was such an exciting adventure. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and the air was filled with the scent of pine trees. Tim was all set with his backpack, ready to explore the great outdoors. We could feel the thrill of the adventure right from the start.
Yeah, but it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. The first thing that went wrong was when Tim tried to set up the tent. Those instructions were ridiculous. They made no sense at all. I was ready to tear that tent apart. Tim struggled with it for what felt like hours, and I could feel my blood boiling, but we managed to get it up eventually.
You don't even remind me about that tent. It was old and musty, and there were bugs everywhere. The campsite wasn't much better, with muddy spots and weird smells all around. And when Tim tried to cook dinner over the campfire, he ended up with burnt marshmallows and half-cooked hot dogs. It was all so gross. I just wanted to get out of there.
Oh, and the night. That was the worst part for me. Every little sound outside the tent made me jump. What if there were wild animals lurking around? What if the fire went out and we were left in complete darkness? I kept imagining all sorts of terrible scenarios. Tim tried to reassure me by saying it was just the wind or harmless forest creatures, but I couldn't help worrying.
But in the end, we made it through the night. When morning came, the forest looked magical in the early light. Tim even found a beautiful stream nearby, where he skipped stones and enjoyed the peaceful sound of the water. We had our ups and downs, but that camping trip turned out to be an unforgettable experience. It taught Tim a lot about resilience and enjoying nature, despite the challenges. And we were there with him every step of the way, helping him navigate the adventure. And before starting the next story, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to the channel.
Now we're going to tell you a story about how Tim went skating for the first time.
It was such an exciting day. The ice was smooth and sparkling, and we all felt that this was going to be an amazing adventure. Tim was determined to learn how to skate and enjoy every moment on the rink.
Yeah, but nothing went smoothly. At first, Tim kept falling, and I was furious. Those skates were so uncomfortable, and the ice was slicker than ever. I wanted to smash that rink to pieces. How can you enjoy skating when you're constantly falling?
And not just that. The ice was dirty with bits of snow and even some gum. Imagine how disgusting it was to fall on that ice. And when Tim tried to get up, his hands touched all that filth. I just couldn't stand it.
And every fall made me even more nervous. What if Tim seriously injured himself? What if he hit his head? It felt like something bad was happening with every step he took. I was terrified that the day would end in the hospital.
But you know what? Tim didn't give up. He got up again and again, despite all the falls and difficulties. And by the end of the day, he was skating much more confidently. He even made a few laps around the rink without falling. It was incredible to see how his perseverance and determination paid off. We were all so proud of him.
Yeah, he did it in the end, but that doesn't mean I'll forget how many times he fell. Those skates still piss me off.
I'm glad he stopped falling into that filth. It was horrible.
And I'm glad it all ended well. Tim showed that even when it's scary and tough, you can overcome your fears and learn something new. He's amazing.
Exactly. It was an unforgettable day, full of emotions and challenges. But in the end, Tim proved to himself that he could handle any difficulty, and we were there to support him every step of the way. It was such a wonderful day. The sun was shining, the pools were filled with crystal clear water, and there were so many slides and attractions around. Tim was thrilled and couldn't wait to try everything.
Yeah, but I wasn't too happy. The first slide we went to was closed. I was furious. How can you go to a water park and not find a working slide? It's just absurd. But Tim insisted on trying the other slides.
And not just that, in some pools, the water was cold and smelled like chlorine. Ew! I just couldn't stand that smell. And when we went to the wave pool, there were some leaves and trash in the water. It was disgusting.
The scariest thing for me was the tall slides. What if Tim didn't hold on and fell? What if someone accidentally pushed him? It seemed like every slide was a danger. I was constantly worried about him.
But Tim was determined. He went down the tallest slide and screamed with excitement. He swam through the artificial waves and laughed as he was tossed up and down. He even tried the water trampoline and managed to jump really high. We were all so happy to see him enjoying every moment.
Well, he did well, but I'm still mad about that closed slide. I hope everything works properly next time.
I'm glad he had fun, but I felt out of place the whole time. I hope the water is cleaner and without that awful smell next time.
And I'm glad everything ended well. Tim showed that he could overcome his fears and enjoy the adventure. He's really amazing.
Exactly. It was an amazing day full of fun and new experiences. Tim proved that even in the most challenging situations, you can find joy and enjoyment. And we were there to support him every step of the way. I want to tell you about the time Tim baked a pie for the first time. It was such a fun day. The kitchen was filled with the aroma of fresh apples and cinnamon, and the whole atmosphere was brimming with the anticipation of something delicious. Tim was so excited and couldn't wait to taste his first homemade pie.
Oh, sure, it was fun, especially when flour ended up everywhere except in the bowl. I was furious. How can you be so clumsy? And the eggs. How do you crack eggs and get shells in the batter? It's just absurd. But Tim didn't give up and kept trying.
And not just that. The whole process was so messy and sticky. I couldn't stand how the dough stuck to his hands, and then he had to clean it all up. And when he added too much cinnamon, I just couldn't bear the smell. It was disgusting.
The whole baking process was a real trial for me. What if the pie burned? What if the dough didn't bake properly? It felt like every minute was filled with danger. I was constantly worried about him.
Well, it's time to wrap up the story and say goodbye. I hope you've liked the video and subscribed to the channel. It really helps us and Tim. Goodbye for now, and see you next time. Hello, dear friends. I am Joy, and today we will be playing Roblox in the mode Escape Mr. Funny's Toy Shop.
Hello, I am Anxiety. I heard that this mode is very scary. I hope our boy Tim is not easily frightened and can handle this challenge.
And to help Tim get through this challenge, let's all support him together. To help him, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with your support for Tim. It really helps him a lot.
It seems to me that I heard some laughter. Tim, go check it out. I think that sound came from the other corridor.
Yes, I also heard a very strange and frightening noise. Tim, be careful.
Whoa, what happened here? Everything is turned over and knocked down. I think this is not a very good sign.
Don't worry so much, Anxiety. Our Tim has already overcome many challenges and obstacles. I'm sure he will manage this one too.
These pipes look quite dangerous. They are small and easy to fall off. Just don't look down and it won't be so scary.
I see a lever over there. I think it needs to be pulled down to open the passage forward.
What if the lever is a trap? Tim, be careful!
It wasn't a trap after all, Disgust. Some platforms have risen. I think we need to jump across them to proceed.
I think danger awaits us after the stairs. I am very scared. I believe we'll encounter the one who caused the chaos in the main room. Wait, why did the gates close behind us and the lights go out? This is a very, very bad sign.
Don't worry, Anxiety. If something goes wrong and Tim struggles, I'll roast him on the biggest bonfire you've ever seen. Tim won't be left in trouble.
Ah! Someone very frightening is chasing us. It's definitely the one who caused the chaos in the main room. Just look at his walk. His legs are wobbling. It seems he was never taught to walk properly as a child and was bullied, which is why he became so angry.
Despite his awkward walk, he's very fast, but Tim has always been quicker than the rest. I believe he'll manage to escape this time too.
Tim, stop and hit him in the legs. I think that will make him fall, and you'll be able to run further away from him.
Tim, don't listen to him. If you stop, he'll definitely do something to you. Keep running as fast as you can.
Maybe he wants to be friends?
Of course not, Joy. Just look at him. If he wanted to be friends, he wouldn't be chasing us with such a scary face. Plus, he could have told us he wanted to be friends. Yuck. He's so disgusting.
These bars are not very reassuring. Look ahead. The mesh has fallen off completely.
Tim has managed to get past the bars, but listen carefully. There are some familiar sounds ahead.
Those are the sounds of the game Red Light, Green Light. I've seen it somewhere before, but I forgot the exact details. However, I remember the rules. You need to move when it's green light and stay still when it's red light. If you move during red light, something very bad will happen to you.
Tim is almost through this game, which means it's time for us to tell stories. Now, let's tell the story of how Tim went fishing for the first time. Once upon a time, Tim decided to go fishing for the first time. It was a bright, sunny day, perfect for an adventure. Tim had always been curious about fishing, so we, his inner voices, were excited to help him make the most of this experience. As Tim arrived at the lake, his eyes sparkled with anticipation. He set up his fishing rod with a sense of wonder, and I, Joy, couldn't help but cheer him on. "Look at him go!" I exclaimed. "He's doing great so far. This is going to be so much fun. Just imagine all the joy and excitement when he catches his first fish."
But as Tim prepared to cast his line, anxiety crept in. Oh no, what if he doesn't catch anything? What if the fish aren't biting? What if he gets bored or frustrated? What if something goes wrong with the fishing gear? I worried, watching Tim with concern. He might face some challenges, and I hope—
Anger, wasn't too pleased with the situation either. Why does fishing have to be so complicated? I grumbled. Why can't things just be easy? Why does Tim have to deal with tangled lines and slippery fish? It's so annoying when things don't go perfectly. But even though I was frustrated, I knew it was important to support Tim through the challenges. He has to learn to deal with these obstacles, I said, but it's definitely not fair that it's so difficult.
Disgusted by the messiness of fishing, I looked at the bait with distaste. Ugh, look at that slimy worm. Why does fishing have to involve such gross things? The smell and the texture are just awful, I complained. But Tim is trying his best despite the unpleasant aspects. We need to support him through this, even if it's really disgusting. Even though the fishing experience was quite disgusting, seeing Tim's happiness made it a bit more bearable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy. Maybe the next time won't be so gross. We just need to get through the icky parts to enjoy the success. In the end, it was a memorable day for Tim, filled with challenges and triumphs. And despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he handled his first fishing adventure.
I had to admit, seeing Tim catch the fish made me a bit less frustrated. All right, I guess he handled the complications well. Even though it was annoying at times, he managed to overcome the challenges. Maybe fishing isn't so bad after all.
Even though Tim succeeded, I still had some lingering worries. I hope he's careful with the fish and the equipment, and I hope he doesn't get too disheartened if things don't go as smoothly next time. But he did really well today, and that's what matters.
Despite the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim kept trying. And guess what? He finally felt a tug on his line. His face lit up with pure joy as he reeled in his very first fish. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. All our support and patience paid off. Tim has caught his first fish, and it's a moment he'll always remember with a big smile. Before we start the next story, I'd like to ask you to subscribe, like the video, and hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so you don't miss Tim's new adventures.
The story will be about how Tim learned to make wooden crafts.
Once upon a time, Tim decided he wanted to learn how to make wooden crafts. It was an exciting new adventure for him, and I, Joy, was thrilled to be part of it. The day started with Tim eagerly gathering his materials: wood, tools, and paint. "Look at him go!" I cheered. "He's so enthusiastic and ready to create something amazing. This is going to be a fun and rewarding experience for him." Tim carefully followed the instructions for his first project: a small wooden birdhouse. As he measured, cut, and assembled the pieces, I couldn't help but feel delighted. He's doing such a great job. Just imagine how happy he'll be when he finishes his first craft. This is a fantastic way for him to express his creativity and skill.
But as Tim continued his project, anxiety began to worry. What if he makes a mistake with the measurements? What if the pieces don't fit together properly? What if he gets frustrated when things don't go as planned? I fretted, watching Tim with concern. There's so much that can go wrong with woodworking. I hope he stays patient and doesn't get too discouraged if things don't turn out perfectly.
Anger was getting frustrated with some of the challenges Tim faced. "Why does it have to be so complicated?" I grumbled. "The tools are difficult to handle, and the instructions are confusing. It's so annoying when things don't work out easily." Despite my frustration, I knew it was important to support Tim through these obstacles. "He has to learn to deal with these challenges," I said. "But it's definitely not fair that it's so hard."
Disgusted by the messiness of the project, I grimaced as Tim worked. Ugh, look at all the sawdust and the sticky glue. Why does woodworking have to be so messy and unpleasant? The smell of the paint and the texture of the wood are just gross, I complained. But even though it's really unpleasant, Tim is putting in a lot of effort. We need to support him through this, even if it's quite disgusting.
Despite the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim persevered. His dedication paid off as he completed his first wooden birdhouse. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. "He's finished his craft, and it looks fantastic." All our support and encouragement helped him get through the challenges. He's so proud of his work, and it's such a joy to see his hard work come to fruition.
Even though Tim succeeded, I still had some lingering concerns. I hope he's careful with the tools in the future and doesn't get discouraged by any mistakes he might make. Woodworking can be tricky, but he did really well today. I'm relieved he managed to finish his project successfully.
I had to admit, seeing Tim complete his birdhouse made me feel a bit less frustrated. All right, maybe it wasn't as easy as it seemed, and he handled the difficulties well. Even though it was annoying at times, he managed to overcome the challenges. Maybe woodworking isn't so bad after all.
Even though the woodworking project was quite messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's satisfaction made it more tolerable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy with his work. Maybe the next project won't be so gross. We just need to get through the messy parts to enjoy the success. In the end, Tim's experience with woodworking was a memorable one, filled with challenges and achievements. Despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he learned and succeeded in his new craft.
And so the stories come to an end. Tim has defeated the main boss and is nearing the end of the level. I believe that thanks to Tim's hard work, he's breezing through these stages. If you put in a little effort, like the video, and subscribe to the channel, it will make Tim very happy. Goodbye, everyone. Hello, dear friends. Today, we are going to escape from the Pomni prison. But before we start, let's all give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. This will help our boy Tim to complete challenges more often so that videos can come out more frequently. Let's get started with the escape.
Yes, let's get started.
I heard that Pomni can be beautiful, but you should never fall for this provocation. It's a trap. That's how she lures people in and then locks them in a cage. Therefore, you must always remember that she is very evil and bad. Remember, you can never judge someone as good just because of their appearance. Inside, that person could be very bad and betray you at any moment.
Yes, I agree with Anger. You can never put your hopes on someone just because of their beauty.
I think you need to break that grate with the key on the wall. Take this key and break the grate so we can move forward.
Wow, everything here is so colorful, but I don't like it at all. She probably lures people in not only with her beauty, but also with the brightness and vividness of her rooms. But we mustn't pay attention to that either. Otherwise, we'll end up behind bars again and have to escape all over.
She runs much faster than the usual guards. Although it's strange because men are usually faster and more enduring, but apparently not this time. I think she runs day and night to catch her captives. Otherwise, she wouldn't catch anyone.
Yes, she is fast. But our boy Tim is much faster than her. She will never catch him, even if she trained every day to run faster than she currently can. That's because Tim is naturally strong, fast, and enduring. This helps him escape from all kinds of troubles.
I really dislike the brightness of her rooms. It's blinding and irritating to my eyes. I feel like if we don't get out of here soon, we might go blind from all this bright color.
Wow, we've descended into some kind of cave or underground tunnel. Perhaps it was dug by previous escapees from this prison. Despite being underground, it's still very bright here. It looks like colorful and vivid crystals have grown everywhere. The bright light reminds me of fireworks that are set off during various celebrations, such as New Year's, birthdays, and so on.
There are some platforms here. I think we need to jump across them to move forward. Tim, be careful when you're jumping. One wrong move, and you'll fall straight into the lava.
Let's not distract Tim and let him complete this level, so we'll tell the story of how Tim learned to ride a bicycle. One day, Tim decided he wanted to learn how to ride a bike. It was a warm, sunny day, perfect for a new adventure. I, Joy, couldn't wait to help Tim tackle this challenge. Tim took his new bike and went to the empty street near his house. "What an exciting moment," I exclaimed. "Tim is about to do something new and thrilling. I'm sure he'll have a great time." At first, Tim was a little nervous, but I encouraged him. "You can do it, Tim. It's going to be fun and amazing. You'll feel the wind in your hair and the freedom of movement." He put on his helmet and grabbed the handlebars with determination. We were all supporting him.
As Tim began trying to balance, anxiety started to worry. Oh no, what if he falls? What if he gets hurt? What if he can't learn to ride and gets upset? I fretted, watching his every move. Biking can be dangerous. I hope he's careful and doesn't get into trouble.
I, Anger, was irritated by all the difficulties Tim faced. Why does riding a bike have to be so hard? I grumbled. Why can't he just learn immediately? It's so frustrating when things don't go smoothly. But despite my frustration, I knew it was important to support Tim. He has to deal with these challenges to get better, I said. But it's definitely annoying when he falls and makes mistakes.
Disgust watched the process with thinly veiled disdain. Ew, look at those dirty knees and elbows from falling. Why does biking have to be so messy and unpleasant? The sweat and dirt are awful, I complained. But Tim isn't giving up despite all the unpleasant moments. We need to support him, even if it's really gross.
Despite all the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim kept practicing diligently. His efforts paid off, and one day he finally managed to ride without falling. "Look at that! He did it!" I cheered. "He learned to ride a bike. All our support and encouragement helped him get through the challenges. He's so proud of himself, and it's such a joy to see his success.
Although Tim succeeded, I still worried a bit. I hope he's careful on the road and always wears his helmet. Biking can be dangerous, but he did great today. I'm glad he learned to ride, but I'll keep worrying about his safety.
I had to admit that seeing Tim finally riding without falling made me a little less irritated. All right, maybe it wasn't as easy as it seemed, and he handled the challenges well. Despite the frustrations, he overcame all the obstacles. Maybe biking isn't so bad after all.
Even though the process of learning to ride a bike was messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's satisfaction made it more tolerable. I suppose it's worth it if he's happy. Maybe next time won't be so gross. We just have to get through the unpleasant moments to enjoy the success. In the end, Tim's experience learning to ride a bike was memorable, filled with challenges and achievements. Despite all our different feelings, we were all proud of how he learned and succeeded in his new skill.
Before we start the next story, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel and give us a like. The next story will be about Tim's first experience at a concert of his favorite band.
The day Tim had been waiting for had finally arrived. His first concert of his favorite band. Joy, was absolutely thrilled for him. Tim had been counting down the days and preparing for this moment for weeks. When the big day came, he wore his favorite band t-shirt, packed his tickets, and headed to the venue with a huge smile on his face. "This is going to be amazing," I cheered. Tim is about to experience something he's dreamed about for so long. The music, the atmosphere, the excitement. It's going to be unforgettable. As Tim walked into the venue, I felt an overwhelming sense of happiness. Look at him. He's so excited and ready for this experience. It's going to be one of the best nights of his life.
But as Tim got closer to the venue, anxiety started to creep in. What if he loses his tickets? What if there's a problem with the entrance? What if the concert is sold out and he can't get in? I worried, watching him with concern. There are so many things that could go wrong. I hope everything goes smoothly for him. Inside the venue, I continued to fret. The crowd looks huge. What if Tim gets lost or overwhelmed by all the people? What if he has trouble finding his seat? Anxiety was on high alert, hoping that Tim would stay calm and enjoy the concert despite any potential issues.
Anger was feeling frustrated by some of the challenges Tim faced. Why is it so crowded? Why are people pushing and shoving? This is so annoying, I grumbled. It's so irritating when people don't respect personal space. Why can't everyone just be considerate and let Tim enjoy the concert? As the concert started, I became even more irritated. The noise is so loud. Why does it have to be this overwhelming? It's just not fair to Tim that the sound is so intense and the crowd is so chaotic.
Disgust had its own issues with the concert experience. Look at all the spilled drinks and trash on the floor. Why does it have to be so messy? The sticky floors and the smell of sweat are just gross, I complained. And the smell of food mixed with all the sweat is really unpleasant. Despite the mess, Disgust acknowledged that Tim was having a good time. Even though it's disgusting here, I suppose it's worth it if Tim is enjoying the concert. It's just something we have to deal with in these kinds of situations.
Despite all the worries, frustrations, and unpleasantness, Tim was having an incredible time. The band came on stage, and the music was just as amazing as he had hoped. Look at him. He's so happy, singing along and enjoying every moment. This is exactly what he dreamed of, and it's such a joy to see him so thrilled. Tim's excitement was contagious, and even though there were some challenges, the overall experience was fantastic. He's living his dream right now. This night will be a cherished memory for him for years to come.
Even as the concert went on, I was still a bit anxious. I hope Tim stays safe and has a good time. The crowd can be overwhelming, but he seems to be handling it well. I'm relieved that he's enjoying himself despite the challenges.
As the concert went on, I had to admit that the frustration of the crowd and the noise seemed less significant. Okay, maybe it wasn't perfect, and there were some annoying moments, but Tim is really enjoying himself. I suppose the experience is worth the inconvenience.
Even though the venue was messy and unpleasant, seeing Tim's joy made it more bearable. It's still gross here, but if Tim is happy, that's what matters. We just have to get through the unpleasant aspects to enjoy the success of his experience. In the end, Tim's first concert experience was memorable, filled with excitement and challenges. Despite all our different feelings, we were all happy to see how much he enjoyed his favorite band's performance.
Well, the game is coming to an end, and Tim has defeated the final boss. I think he's learned that sometimes appearances can be deceiving and can lead to very bad consequences. It's important to always stay vigilant and cautious to avoid trouble. I hope you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel. Well, I'm signing off now. Goodbye, everyone. Hi, everyone. Today we're going to play Roblox in the game mode MR Yummy Supermarket. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give us a like, and also leave a comment about which game mode you'd like to see next. Let's get started.
I have a feeling that Mr. Yummy is not the cleanest person. Just look at this place. There are sauces spilled everywhere. It looks like ketchup and mustard. It smells so bad. It seems like something else has gone bad here too. He really needs to hire a cleaning company to sort this out.
Oh, look at this mess. Just look at the floor. There are puddles everywhere. This place is disgusting. How can anyone work in such a filthy environment? And that Mr. Yummy guy looks so smug, like he doesn't care at all.
I know. It's really unsettling. What if those puddles are something harmful? What if they're dangerous? I'm really worried about Tim. What if he slips and hurts himself? We need to be extra careful here.
Seriously, how can someone be so careless? If he can't even keep his supermarket clean, what else is he neglecting? I'm so angry just thinking about it. We should do something about this.
I just keep thinking about all the potential hazards. What if those puddles are hiding something worse? We need to make sure Tim doesn't get hurt. I'm so anxious just looking at this place.
Well, we have to deal with it. If Mr. Yummy can't clean up his own mess, we might have to find a way to help him. But I'm not going to be happy about it.
Agreed. Let's just focus on keeping Tim safe and getting out of here. I'm too worried about all the dangers in this place to think about anything else right now.
I think these cashiers are unhappy with their work. Some look like they're hungry, others seem exhausted. Mr. Yummy doesn't seem to care about his employees at all and makes them work to the bone. We need to do something about this. Maybe punish him and help the cashiers.
Wow, look at this room. It's like a magical playground for kids. The walls are painted with bright colors, and there are so many toys and games scattered around. It's so cheerful and fun. I bet kids love spending time here.
Ugh, are you serious? Look closer. The toys are all over the place, and some of them look really dirty. There are crumbs and stains on the carpet, and it smells a bit musty. It's not as charming as it seems.
Come on, it's supposed to be a fun space for kids. A little mess is normal. Besides, those toys look like they've had a lot of happy playtime. The room has a lot of potential to be a great place for children.
Maybe, but the filth and disorganization are hard to ignore. I can't help but feel grossed out by the mess and the smell. It's not just a little mess. It's pretty disgusting.
I understand that it might not be perfect, but the overall vibe is still positive. If someone cleaned it up a bit, it would be a fantastic space for kids to play and enjoy themselves.
Well, I suppose you're right about the potential, but it definitely needs a thorough cleaning before it can be truly enjoyable. I just hope someone takes care of it soon.
Exactly. With a bit of tidying up, this could be an amazing room for kids. Let's hope it gets the attention it needs.
Story time! Now we're going to tell you a story about Tim.
Today, we have an exciting story about how Tim saved the population from a zombie apocalypse. Imagine, our brave Tim found himself in the middle of a zombie outbreak and had to figure out how to save everyone. It was quite an adventure.
Oh no, not a zombie apocalypse. I was panicking from the start. What if Tim couldn't find a safe place? What if the zombies were too strong? I kept worrying about him as he tried to find a way out of this terrible situation.
Stop worrying, Anxiety. Tim isn't just any guy. He's a real hero. Sure, zombies are dangerous, but if anyone can stop them, it's him. If needed, I'll personally deal with those zombies to help Tim save people.
Ah, zombies are just revolting. Their appearance and smell are horrifying. I was completely grossed out. I hope Tim can handle this without getting too close to such disgusting things.
When Tim started taking action, he first gathered a group of survivors and led them to a safe shelter. He came up with a plan for safe movement and defense. Despite the dangers, he kept a positive attitude and inspired others with his actions.
I couldn't stop worrying as Tim led people through ruined cities and dense forests. Every step was risky, and I feared something would go wrong. He did an incredible job ensuring everyone's safety.
Tim acted quickly and decisively. When zombies tried to breach their shelter, he took up arms and protected the people. I was so proud of him for showing he wasn't afraid to fight to protect those with him. We won't let anyone suffer because of these zombies.
With every encounter with zombies, my discomfort grew. These creatures were truly horrific, but I knew I had to support Tim. Despite my revulsion, I recognized that his bravery and determination were crucial for survival.
In the end, thanks to Tim's bravery and skill, the residents were able to build a new safe place and begin rebuilding. Tim became a real hero, and everyone was grateful for his efforts and courage. We were all so happy that we could help him in this great endeavor. It was a story of true heroism and friendship.
I still can't help but admire how Tim managed through this terrible ordeal. He turned panic and fear into hope and safety. It was a very tough moment, but he did everything right.
See anxiety? Tim handled it despite all the difficulties. He defeated the zombies and protected the people. I'm proud of his resilience and bravery.
Yes, despite the horrible moments and the disgust I felt, I'm glad Tim was able to handle the situation. Now we can hopefully rest easy and hope such horrors won't happen again.
And that's the end of our story, friends. Tim showed that even in the toughest situations, hope and strength can be found for the fight. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as we did.
The next story will be about how Tim went on a round-the-world journey.
We have an exciting story about how Tim embarked on a round-the-world journey. Picture this. Tim decided to travel to every corner of the globe, discovering new cultures, meeting interesting people, and having adventures like never before. It was a journey full of joy and wonder.
Oh, traveling around the world sounds thrilling, but it also makes me anxious. What if Tim gets lost in a foreign country? What if something goes wrong with his plans? There are so many unknowns, and I can't help but worry about his safety and well-being throughout this entire journey.
Enough with the worrying, anxiety. Tim is a brave adventurer. He's going to face challenges head-on and show the world what he's made of. Sure, there might be bumps along the way, but I believe in his strength and determination. If anyone can handle a global journey, it's him.
Traveling can be so grimy and uncomfortable sometimes. All those crowded airports, dirty hotels, and strange foods. Yuck! I'm already feeling grossed out thinking about all the mess and unpleasantness Tim might encounter. But I suppose he has to endure it to experience the world.
Tim's journey began with excitement as he set off from his home. He first explored vibrant cities, tasted delicious street foods, and marveled at historical landmarks. Each new place brought a fresh wave of enthusiasm and happiness. The joy on Tim's face was contagious as he embraced each new experience.
As Tim ventured into remote areas and unfamiliar places, my anxiety grew. What if he encounters dangerous situations or gets sick? Every new destination seemed to come with its own set of risks. I kept hoping that Tim would stay safe and that his journey would go smoothly, despite my worries.
Even though there were obstacles, Tim didn't let them get in his way. He tackled every challenge with determination and grit. When he faced setbacks, he pushed through, demonstrating his resilience. I was ready to punch any problem that came his way, ensuring he could continue his adventure without too much hassle.
Some parts of Tim's journey were truly unpleasant. From enduring long flights with questionable food to dealing with unclean accommodations, it was a test of endurance. I was cringing at some of the less glamorous aspects of his travels. But I had to admit, despite the discomfort, Tim's spirit never wavered.
Eventually, Tim returned home, full of amazing stories and unforgettable experiences. His journey around the world had been an incredible adventure, filled with new friends, breathtaking sights, and personal growth. It was a true celebration of exploration and discovery, and his happiness was evident to everyone around him.
Even though I was anxious throughout Tim's travels, seeing him come back safe and happy was a huge relief. His adventure turned out to be a fantastic experience, and I felt reassured knowing he managed to handle everything so well.
Despite all the bumps along the way, Tim's journey was a success. He conquered challenges and made the most of every opportunity. I'm proud of his bravery and resilience throughout the entire trip.
Some parts of Tim's journey were truly unpleasant. From enduring long flights with questionable food to dealing with unclean accommodations, it was a test of endurance. I was cringing at some of the less glamorous aspects of his travels. But I had to admit, despite the discomfort, Tim's spirit never wavered.
Our stories have come to an end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and also leave your comments. See you next time, and goodbye.